So let's move on to the next one. Now, this is interesting. Majid has a question, and he's asking, I think it's he. He's asking, your emails or newsletters have very little graphics. Why? Interesting. So generally, there are three types. One is plain text, and the other one is hybrid. All right. I'll explain to you why. And then the other one is HTML. So plain text, which is now rarely used, all right? Plain text is, as what it calls, is just text. And the thing with plain text is you cannot so-called highlight the, let's say, for example, I want to say sign up now, okay? And I have other text in the front and other text at the bottom, at the back. I cannot highlight this and build a link. That's plain text. So that's why most modern email marketers now, and that's probably 99.99%, would be using the hybrid text. Essentially, it's an HTML email, but only contain text. And this is what I use in my emails. So there's no header image. It used to have, and then I decided to get rid of it. There's no header image, and there's just text. Now, the reason I do that is because it allows me to do exactly this. All right? So let me give you an example. Oops, wrong one. Let me give you an example. There you go. So, for example, this is an HTML text, right? You have images, and then you have a combination of text, but primarily a lot more images. And it's great because if you are doing e-commerce, your hero product needs to be featured. All right. Sometimes you may not be able to describe the product, and the best way is, use a picture. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. So this is a HTML email. All right. And this is a HTML hybrid, which is primarily text. So that's why you see you can build a link, right? This one linked to somewhere else, and this one goes to somewhere else, right? So you can actually do that. So that's hybrid, or primarily the one that I use. Okay. Now, there is also something that you need to be aware of. There are Apple Mail, mailbox providers. There are Gmail, and the big ones, your Outlook and also Yahoo. Do I have this? Okay, fine. Let me see. The thing that mostly happens with Apple Mail is this. And why normally I don't do unless, if it's absolutely necessary. Okay. You notice this is an Apple Mail on my desktop. And if you see this, right? So this is text. That's fine. You can see it very clearly. If you look at this, then you see this. Apple Mail has this peculiarity where, let me make it bigger for you. Oops. Right? Where it asks you whether this message contains remote content, which is basically link to display your images, right? So your images is stored in a server somewhere, and then it's connected by a link, and it will pull that data away, so into your email, right? So that's why if you have a lot of images, for example, it doesn't affect the size of your email, primarily because it is not residing on email itself, it's just pulling data from another server. So when you see this, all so-called images for Apple Mail would have, all these images will be lost. Okay, so for example, let's say, you see, unless you allow it. So if you say load remote content, then you probably see this. There you go. Okay, so it is important for you, in your case, to identify if you want to send HTML or images, email with images, memes, GIFs, for example, is you need to then make sure or segregate your audience into Apple Mail user and the rest. Okay, so for example, this is what I do on MailerLite. It allows me, let me see which one. Okay, on MailerLite, it allows me to do this. All right, I can then separate users whose email client is using, let's say, Mobile Safari, and or either the email client, which is the app on your phone, is using Apple Mail. So good for me is, only 2 of the users on my list are using this. So if I want to decide, for example, to send an email with lots of graphics, so let's say I want to send a New Year's greetings, for example, then I will make sure that I will segment these two users out and only send text email to them. And the rest of the other subscribers will receive my graphics email, right? Another thing that you also need to be aware of is this. Where is, let me see. Okay. It is important now, if, for example, you say I can't separate them, most email after the after Apple has released the MPP, which is the mail protection, privacy protection, most of the ESPs has a function which allows you to segregate your Apple Mail. So check with your service providers and see whether they can help you with that. One thing I want to highlight is this. Let me see. Okay. So, no, this is not a good example. Maybe this one. Okay. You notice now, in this case, just I'll show you that, for Apple Wines, I think this is the email here for Apple. No, not Apple Wines. So wine something. Where is it? Just now. It went missing. Went missing on me. Okay. Okay, let's see whether we can see Net Reporter. Can we see Net Reporter? Okay, maybe we can use this. Okay. You notice this is what you call alternate text. That means you replace, maybe this one will do. Okay, there you go. So the image, if you requires to be loaded, so what you do is you then put the alternate text into each one of these image. So that way, at the very least, the users, even if they don't load the images, and this is only peculiar for Apple Mail users, they can actually see the rest of, at least an idea of what the image are about. And then they can decide, whether they want to load the remote content or not. And if it does, then there you go. It looks nice, right? So that's how you make sure to, if you want to send emails to everyone and you cannot segregate the users, then this is what you do. You make sure you have the alternate email, alternate text to each of the email, and then that will be fine. But my preference is if there's any graphics, I would then separate them or segment them out. Okay. So Majid, I hope I've answered your questions. Hi, and thanks for watching. If you need my help to set up your email marketing engine for your business, just click on the link here and you see a list of services that will help you grow your leads and sales and also increase your profits through emails. I'm looking forward to working with you soon.